The same left-wing politics, like the same music. They were part of the protest movement. Well, Anna presented herself as a feminist. Started the way they talked and dressed, fashionist up an anarchist. Eric fell in love with Anna. It was a meeting, a crime thing conference. He didn't know it, but Anna was an FBI informant. Eric fell in love with an FBI informant. Shared his dreams of revolution. Now he's sitting in solitary confinement. Be careful what you think. Be careful what you say. Might be used against you in court one day. Well, Anna thinks she's a hawk. She's just a fucking snitch. Comparisons are made to a terrorist organization. Well, Anna had the car, Anna paid the rent, Anna helped find the recipe to make the explosives. She encouraged her friends to follow through with their plans. They were gonna build a bomb and blow the Nimbus Dam. Conversations are being recorded. They didn't know it, but Anna wasn't FBI informants. Eric fell in love with an FBI informant. Shared his dreams of revolution. Now he's sitting in solitary confinement. Be careful what you think. Be careful what you say. Might be used against you in court one day. Well, Anna thinks she's a hawk. She's just a fucking snitch. Black Suburbans and AR-15 rifles. Agents made the arrest in a Kmart parking lot. Caught with the supplies, the bomb in hands. The three were charged with conspiracy against the government. Brandon Jensen traded testimony, essential leniency. Eric was sentenced to 20 years in the penitentiary. Eric, Brandon Jensen were activists. They didn't know it, but Anna wasn't FBI informants. Eric fell in love with an FBI informant. Shared his dreams of revolution. Now he's sitting in solitary confinement. Be careful what you think. Be careful what you say. Might be used against you in court one day. Well, Anna thinks she's a hawk. She's just a fucking snitch. Said Anna thinks she's a hawk. She's just a fucking snitch.
The song is based on an activist named Eric McDavid, who's currently serving 20 years in a California penitentiary. 3 or 4 months ago, I was eating breakfast with my wife, and I was reading Elle magazine. And there's a story in Elle about this woman named Anna. And I don't think that's her real name, but that's the name she went by. And there was a protest in Miami a couple years back. And Anna was like a student down in Miami, and she went and kind of like infiltrated this group of protesters, posed as a protester herself, and then wrote this kind of just like weird, demented like class paper on it. And somehow the FBI ended up catching wind on this paper, and were like, "This is great work. Do you want a job?" And so the FBI gave Anna a job, and paid her over $75,000, got her a car, like a cabin in the woods outside of Sacramento, and in return she coerced these three activists, Eric McDavid, Wren, and Jensen, into plotting to blow up the Nimbus Dam, which is a dam in Sacramento, California. And it's in the article it talks about how Eric had this kind of thing for Anna. He had a little bit of a crush or whatever, and she kind of very much so used that to manipulate him into going along with this plot, and just really coerced these kids into doing this. At every step along the way, when the kids were like, and I say kids as in like myself, right, my age too, like late 20s, whatever. But every step along the way, when they were like, "Oh, we're really not maybe into this idea, we've kind of lost our passion for it," or whatever, she was like, "No, we have to do this." Like she just wouldn't let the project die. And at every step along the way, as I said, even when they were like, "Well, we don't even know how to build a bomb," she supplied them with a recipe that it's arguable as to whether or not would even worked, but was supplied by the FBI anyway. Yeah. And so, every step along the way, really, she built this case that wouldn't have been possible without her prodding it along and the FBI's backing behind it. And Wren and Jensen ended up pleading guilty to lesser charges and testifying against Eric. And Eric's now, as I said, serving 20 years in a California penitentiary. And I wrote the song on my own accord, and have since I sent an MP3 of the song to Eric's support website, which is www.supporteric.org, and then it's Eric with a C. And I have offered to play benefit shows for his legal defense, whatever people want. But it's a subject that I feel really passionately about, because when I was reading the article, a lot of what he was convicted on was him talking, conversations with Wren and Jensen and with Anna as well, and not realizing he was being recorded, but saying stuff that was very idealistic things that I'm sure that I've said as well, if not worse. They were as harsh as they were on him because it was part of the FBI's war on green terrorism, and just to try somebody as a terrorist, someone to be serving 20 years for thinking about doing something that it's arguable as to whether or not they even could have done or without the FBI's help, or would have done on their own accord, I just think is a crime.